I watched a TED Talk that was talked by Claire McCarthy. Um, During McCarthy's TED Talk, she mostly talked about the concepts of square wheels and round wheels. She was not really referring to a wheel like you would put on a car or, or a different type of vehicle. She was mostly explaining how these kind of two concepts work out in business. She says that square wheels can show that people can. She basically said that people know the difference between the two. Basically, what they are mean is that a round wheel can bring people to refocus on their work, and a square wheel are people's attention are away from their work. This basically means that some people are thinking better than some people at their jobs, and some aren't at all. From my own experience, I feel like I have to most likely fit into a round wheel category because I usually always remain focused on my work. I don't really, I sometimes do engage with other people with conversations, but not usually that often. McCarthy actually brought this up because she says that employee work is recognizable, which just means that people recognize another employee's good work at a job. I've actually had experience with this before, where people from my own job have actually appreciated what I have done to help both them and for the company. Um, McCarthy also brought up the fact about a theory that someone actually did, an experiment someone did once. One time during the Thanksgiving season, that a company did a thing where they give out free turkeys for everybody. However, not everybody really wanted to get turkeys because most people didn't like them or they didn't really need them right now. Basically, she stated out that you may not hear about the turkey, but you might accept it. The reason people might accept it was for two parts. The first one was that these turkeys that were given out were actually given out for free. And usually, when something is for free, we as people usually have a tendency to take it because this is like a limited time offer or something that would probably never happen again. She also brought up to the fact that it was actually taking place during the holidays, and I thought this would be a good idea because this can help save them money on how getting a turkey. This actually kind of shows how much people would go for something and just to make sure that they can meet their own expectations. Uh, she also McCarthy also brought up that sometimes employee appreciation doesn't work and it makes employees focus on their work. This actually is kind of true for most employees because um, most employees that do get recognized appreciate it, but sometimes they don't always treat it like they're big shots. They kind of treat it like it's normal, like they want to, like they accept it, but they resume doing their responsibilities. I've actually have done this a lot with my own jobs because despite the fact that I'm getting good word and good feedback from the people I work for, I just remain focused on my task ahead, and because it actually just makes me realize that as long as I keep working, I can still do good in my career. It all. She also had also McCarthy also brought up one time that a friend of hers got some recognition for some of the sacrifices that she's made for her company, as well as put some new meaning into it. She basically brought that up because she said that people can feel better when they receive feedback, especially when the person who actually gives them the feedback has received feedback themselves. This kind of shows that people are all willing to give other people feedback after they're given their own. It also ends up showing that um, the person who gives the feedback to the receiver also feels a lot better because it makes them happy to know that they can provide feedback for somebody from someone who's gave it to them. Basically, McCarthy basically said that you should always be asking for feedback because you are always going to be open to having new ideas as well as to making sure that you can actually if something you're doing can help you succeed. It can also help you develop both as a person, both out in the real world and in business, because it can actually help you have some confidence in what you want to do next, as well as the fact that you could also do well with a project or even come up with an even better plan than you had before. Uh, but basically, McCarthy also did a workshop with people who never really got any feedback. She ended up realizing throughout the workshop that even though these people didn't receive feedback, they should at least try to give some feedback out to other people. Meaning that even though they never had their chance, they should at least give a chance to other people. She ended up leaving them with the fact that they should do feedback sincerely and be sincere about other opportunities. This means that she wants them to be nice to people when they give feedback, even though, like I said, they never really receive feedback themselves, as well as to be open about opportunities that some of the workers might have. Basically, McCarthy also had talked to HR. She also explained about team visions for a hospital she worked at. Her big example of that was when she was there and a woman had to give up her baby because she realized that her child had a very huge medical condition and would not live too long. Upon realizing that, she also brought up that the doctor who actually delivered it told the woman who gave birth to the baby that she would take care of it until it had to die. She did end up taking care of it, and McCarthy actually pointed out because of what the person who delivered and took the baby did, she said she ended up leaving a huge example for the hospital that she was working at. She also had brought up that the woman who actually had to give it up said that McCarthy was like an angel because it was kind of like a huge blessing to know that somebody would help take this child from her when she knew that she would be able to give it back. McCarthy basically ended up explaining that we sometimes do get recognized for our sacrifices as well as what we do for businesses. But at the same time, we also don't really get shown that much. From my own experience, I've been recognized a lot for what I've done, and there's also been times where I've not been recognized for the work and sacrifices that I've made for companies. But I do know overall that, to me, the recognition doesn't really matter. To me, what matters is the fact that I basically will go out and help make our company better. It doesn't really matter much to me whether I get recognized or not. To me, I just think that as long as I represent the company and give it a good word, then that's just good enough for me.